Hey, good morning. It's 8:27. It's the Scott and Kat Show every morning, 5:30 till 9 on Z103.5. Kat is off. Stacy is filling in. And we have some guests on the studio. Or in the studio. And
big day today.
Tell me about it. Let's welcome Councillor Doug Ford and Mayor Rob Ford to Z103.5. Good morning, gentlemen.
How you doing, Scott? Stacy, how are you?
We're doing good. We're doing
You guys
good.
are looking good today.
You know what?
Stacy looks a little better than you, Scott.
See,
I just want to point out to the listeners here.
Yes, she looks good.
That's very sweet of you. Thank you.
Gentlemen, I want to talk about a whole wide variety of things, but let's talk about first what everybody's talking about this morning and the Olympics. And today the men's hockey team gets underway. And Doug, we'll start with you, and then we'll go to Mayor Ford. Team Canada, men's hockey team, will they win?
They will. They'll win the gold.
You think so?
Crosby's going to pull through like he did last time. We have a great team, fast. I would have preferred a little more size, but I think we're going to bring the speed to the game there.
What about you, Mayor Ford? You're more of a football guy. Do you watch hockey at all?
Oh, yeah, I'm a hockey fanatic, but I'm worried about exactly what Doug said, our size. We have a small, fast team. It's a wider ice surface, but if we run into a physical team, the Russians are pretty physical, and we could be in trouble. But if speed pays off, then we win for sure. But if we get hit, then we're going to be in trouble.
It's amazing. I've been hearing from a lot of teachers who are going to let kids watch the game in their classrooms, and I'm also hearing from parents that are letting their kids stay home today. The game's on at noon. Will you have a chance to watch it at City Hall, or do you get to take a break at all? Or?
Yeah, during meetings we'll probably have the TV going, but when we were little, I remember going like Westmount Junior School. I remember they let us out in the gym, and all the whole school was in the gym, the teachers and everything. They pulled down the big screen, and it was Team Canada playing, and we all watched it. So I don't know if I'd let the kids go home, but I would definitely bring them into the auditorium or the library or somewhere,
It's history, right?
Yeah, well, it's our game, right?
And then quiz them afterwards. And so you know that they've done good.
How much ice time did Sidney Crosby get?
That's right.
Okay, there's a proposal this morning that people are starting to talk about opening the bars in Toronto at 6 a.m. for the Olympics. Are you in favor of this or no? Councillor Ford?
Well, like I said off the air, you're asking Rob Ford if the bar should be open 6 a.m. Come on. It's the old 7-Eleven 24/7. No, all joking aside. Yeah, well, what the heck? If they want to go and if someone can handle having a drink in the morning, I don't know who could. But anyways, all the best to them.
Mayor Ford?
It's good for business. If you got to look at the business side of things. People are going to watch the game. People want to be at a bar. The time change, we have no control over that. So if they want to start drinking at 6 in the morning, that's going to be pretty rough. But yeah, absolutely. Let them open the bars at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Twitter exploded last night because we should explain that myself and you guys have a mutual friend, someone you went to school with, and a mentor of mine, Tony Monaco.
He's a champion.
Isn't he?
He's a great guy. I went to public school with him, and Tony's a couple of years younger than myself, but you think we go back to grade 2, grade 3, and actually we were in the gymnasium when the Russians played Team Canada in 72.
Really?
I'm aging myself here.
You're aging Tony is what you're doing.
No, like you said, he's the youngest teenager in the country.
So last night was his birthday party, and you guys went, and I couldn't believe the amount of tweets that we got from you guys going down just to visit and say hi. Even CP24 was there.
Yeah.
Well, it took like 2 minutes before the media was just sitting outside, and we went in there, and we like Tony. We don't do it for everyone, but Tony's a good friend of ours. We've gone to school with him, so I brought him down a bobblehead and a proclamation and wished him a happy birthday. And my brother Randy was with us, so we were there for about, I don't know, maybe a half hour or so. But I really appreciate the support. It's a great bar. If people treat us like gold, and I want to thank and wish Tony all the best and a happy birthday.
Did you do any dancing?
No.
Rob's a dancer.
I was just taking pictures of people and stuff like that.
I'll tell you, ask Tony. Rob was a rock star when he walked in there. There's the whole demographics of the young folks that love Rob. He relates to them. And I just found it ironic. CP24, maybe the Rob Ford alarm went off. They all jumped in their car, raced down there, and started to question us like she was our mother. What are you doing out at 11:45? You gotta be kidding me.
Oh, yeah. And then I was holding water. I said, here, do you want to smell my water? Just in case, you know?
Jeez. Okay, but you guys must be, are you used to it or are you sick of it, the media attention? I mean, when is enough? They're following you to a bar, asking you what's in your water bottle.
I can't stand the media. We love the people. Rob's the people's mayor, as Tony was saying last night. You can see it when we were there. But the media is just absolutely, it's unprecedented. It's out of control.
Oh, if they're not on my driveway, sorry, Stacey.
Oh, no, go ahead.
No, it's like if you come down to my office right now, it's like a cat watching a mouse hole, and they just sit there. I mean, they're not one of them. There's about 50 people just sitting in front of the mayor's office 24/7. Every move I make, they follow me, and I'm thinking, like, what is the issue here? Like, just let me do my job, and they'll chase me down for lunch. If I go down to the cafeteria for lunch, they'll be down there for lunch. If I go...
They chased you to the washroom the other day.
Yeah, and oh yeah, exactly. They ran me right to the washroom. I said, guys, this is over the top. I said, you're going to come in the washroom too?
So how does it feel to be mentioned on like David Letterman and Jay Leno and having the big guys?
Like Jimmy Kimmel and Jon Stewart are all over it.
Yeah, well, you know what? They have a job to do. I don't consider myself a celebrity. I'm just an average, hardworking person that watches taxpayers' money and supports the youth. I'm really out there. I can relate to the youth. Obviously, you know, I coach football for 22 years, and I really try to help out the youth. And we're going to have a ton of youth on the campaign. The election's October 27th, and I encourage people to come out and help us out, and they can help out in many different ways. It's great for the resume, and it's great. They meet people. They can get jobs. There's so many different people on our campaign. There's business owners and everyone, and they're always looking for, you know, hardworking youth. So youth want to work, just give us a shout, and I'll definitely we'll use them on our campaign.
I'm glad you mentioned the campaign, because we're going to talk a lot about it, and we're going to talk about some political issues that are happening. And I also want to ask one more question before we go to a song here, because we got to take a quick break. But the Super Bowl. Before the Super Bowl, everybody knew that Denver was just going to hammer Seattle.
That's right.
And when it didn't happen, did anyone blame Peyton Manning? Broncos fans, they didn't blame Peyton Manning. And they didn't blame the amazing Seattle offense or Seattle defense. Everybody blamed you for wearing that jersey, Mayor Ford, a couple of days before the game.
You know what?
Do you regret wearing that jersey?
Not at all. Orlando Franklin is a friend of mine. He's a good friend of mine, and he's the only Torontonian in the game, and he made Toronto proud. It's just a collapse in football. I've played years and years of football. When things don't go right, they just go completely wrong, and nobody played well on Denver, and Seattle played their A game. Seattle didn't make mistakes, so you can't pick out one player and say, you know, it was his fault or, you know, that guy's fault. They just didn't play well. It was like, you know what it reminded me of? When Toronto collapsed against Boston last year in the playoffs.
Right.
Remember, they just let 4 goals in and it was over? Oh, who was that to blame? You can't pick one person out.
Well, I'm a huge Broncos fan. Love Peyton Manning.
She's got a tattoo of Peyton Manning, by the way, on her arm.
18. Look at this. I darkened it for Peyton.
Wow.
And I'm still going to blame you because I need to blame somebody, and I can't blame Peyton. I'm sorry. I hope it's okay.
Can we put a Ford Nation on your back?
More with Mayor Ford and Councillor Doug Ford coming up in 3 minutes. Kesha Pitbull, that's Timber. Good morning, it's 8:38, the Scott and Kat Show. Stacey is filling in for Kat, and our guests this morning, Councillor Doug Ford and Mayor Rob Ford. And I just got a tweet question that I want to ask you, in particular, Mayor Ford. The media has been following you aggressively. You admitted that earlier.
Absolutely.
Why do you still let them congregate in that little area outside your office? Why don't you just kick them out? Because it seems like that's where a lot of the confrontation seems to take place.
And I can't kick them out. It's public space. I can put up ropes, but they sort of ignore the ropes. They just huddle in. It's almost like a football game. I have to get through the line, and there's like, like I'm not exaggerating. When I say there's 50 people out there, there must be with the cameraman and everything, and then I have to go to a committee, and it's just like, it's like a football game. Me carrying the ball, and I just got to keep moving and moving and moving. And Jerry's my lead blocker, and I have a couple other linemen, and that's how it works. But they don't care if they get hit. They just keep standing there. I'll give them credit. They're tough. They won't move. So, but I got to get to my committee. I got to get to my meetings, and it's bad for the taxpayers because I have so many people that come and want to see me, and they have to go through a crowd of media. And I said, like, this is what I put up with.
The worldwide media, when they came, they couldn't believe it. I've talked to the Jimmy Kimmel's producer. We may be going down there. A few other the shows, they contact us on a daily basis, but they've never seen anything anywhere. And this is American media talking. So
The most surreal thing I've seen in the last 6 months was when CNN was carrying live coverage of a Toronto City Council meeting. That was bizarre to me because that would never happen any other time.
Never at all. And these, even the American people, we had NBC in my car. They followed me around, and I said, "Yeah, this is what I do." And I'm returning calls, and he was just amazed. And then, sure enough, I get out of the car, and boom, it's like peas on honey. So it's you know what? That's if they want to do it, that's fine. But they can't get me off my game. My game is to save taxpayers' money, create jobs, stimulate the economy, and watch every single dime that's spent out of City Hall. And they're trying to deviate, and they're trying to throw me off my game. It's not going to happen. It's not happening.
Let's talk about that, because when the budget discussion was happening, you came out with a proposal to save taxpayers even more money and minimize the increase on taxes.
Yeah.
And the rest of the council seemed to just shut you down on that. It's like they didn't even want to let you talk about what you wanted to do. Is it personal now between...
Absolutely. And they're not hurting me. They're hurting the taxpayers. I had the $60 million. We went through all the motions. Simple stuff. Like $500,000, Scott, for a splash pad. $500,000. You can build a house and a pool for $500,000, and they're putting a splash pad at Exhibition Place for $500,000.
$500,000 for a splash pad?
A splash pad.
But maybe there are diamonds so you can wipe your feet.
I still haven't seen the splash pad, but for $500,000, I said, this is not necessary. We've got to get our roads paved, the infrastructure done. That's what people want. It's a clean, safe city. And no, these people want to spend it like drunken sailors. I said, this is ridiculous. So I had a proposal coming out 1.75%. They ended up approving 2.75%. So you know what? This is what happens.
It's the gravy train's back on again down there, guys, and they also approved $3.2 million as a slush fund just for them, for their council expenses.
Yeah.
So they can go out and they can do whatever they want on $3.2 million rather than being efficient.
So
staggering.
How it works, Scott, is we make a councillor makes $110,000. I make $180,000 as the mayor, and then councillors have $30,000 an expense account, which I lowered from 53 to 30. Well, these councillors devised a plan, and they said, okay, we're going to have our own little slush fund, a general expense account of $3.2 million, so they can dip into that too, so they can travel and do all this other stuff. And it's a scam, if you ask me. And they're saying, okay, out of spite, because you lowered our expense account, we're going to do this. And I tried to get rid of that, and that was like trying to take milk away from a baby. So they were crying and hollering and screaming. So
both of you got elected originally on a campaign to cut the gravy train. Mm-hmm. What would 4 more years look like at City Hall? Let's say you're reelected. 4 more years is going to be, we're going to be building subways, and the Shepherd line, the Finch line, the DRL. We're going to expand the airport. We're going to create jobs and there's still a lot of waste down there, Scott, a ton of waste. And they've just gone out and hired, 800 people this year. 400 for the TTC, 400 for planning on all these different departments. So there's a ton of waste, and we're going to get the city straightened out once and for all. But I need 23 councillors that support me, and right now I don't have them. So I encourage people, if they want to run, they have to be 18 years of age or older. They have to live in Toronto and be a Canadian citizen, and that's it. You go down to City Hall, pay $100. There's no prerequisites. You show ID and say, I live here, you're 18, you're a Canadian citizen, pay $100, your name goes on the ballot. I encourage people to do that, and we will guide them, we will help them campaign, but I need 23 votes, and right now, realistically, I might have 10 votes. Let's talk about the campaign. You declared that you were a candidate on day one, the first possible day you could.
Absolutely.
Do you think that puts you at a bit of a disadvantage, being the first one in or being the perceived front runner right now?
Not at all. So many people wanted to donate to my campaign. And I'm not here to ask for money, but they said, Rob, I want to donate to your campaign. So for me to take a donation, I have to register. So we've been fundraising money, and if people want to donate, they get 3/4 of it back. So a lot of people are donating $500, and if you donate $500, then you get like $350 back from the city as a rebate check. But I can't take it until I'm registered. So I registered, and you make a check payable to the Rob Ford campaign. Up to the top, the most you can take is $2,500. Some people can donate $50, some people can donate $100, but until I registered, I couldn't fundraise money. Now we're fundraising money. We're opening up our Scarborough campaign office. I think we're going to be opening that up probably in about a week or two, and we're opening up our Etobicoke office probably in about a week or two. So this campaign's starting to roll, and people are contributing, but I need ground troops. I need people that want to hand out literature, that want to pick up the phones, that want to interact, have barbecues, have festivals, have parties. It's an amazing experience for the youth to come out, and they'll enjoy themselves, and you make so many connections. You'd be amazed how many people you meet on a campaign.
Well, I highly recommend a Ford Nation tattoo across your back.
Absolutely.
Seriously.
You're not considering that, are you? Yeah. Councillor Doug Ford, you, I believe, have said you will not run in this election.
That's correct.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to make sure that we move forward with a fiscal agenda that the people elected us on. I got to remind everyone we're ranked number 1 in the world to work, number 2 in the world to live. We've saved the taxpayers over $800 million of efficiencies and $240 million on the nasty car registration tax. And we got to reduce the size and cost of the government there and make sure it's transparent and accountable.
So if that's the case, why don't the other councillors get along with you guys?
Well, I guess when you stop their little special interest groups and you pull their hands out of the cookie jar and you tell them that they don't get a special account of $30,000 slush fund, and you hold them accountable, they don't like it. They like having their little backroom deals, feathering their own nest down there, and we're stopping the gravy train, and they don't like it. It's very, very simple.
Scott, as simple as making people vote. So I said, every vote has to be recorded now. Instead of putting up your hands, I said, everybody has to be. They freak out over that. Oh, why do we have to be,
accountable?
Accountable. I said, because it's the taxpayers want to know how you're voting. I said, I don't care what motion it is or what vote it is. You're going to push a green or a red button, or you're going to take a walk. And sometimes councillors just disappear for no reason. If they can't make the decision up, they walk, and that drives me crazy. So I make sure every single councillor is held accountable, and it's working. So taxpayers like it, anyways.
What are we going to do with the gardener?
I'm keeping the gardener. We cannot tear down the gardener, and we're going to keep the gardener. We're going to beautify it, clean it up. There's some work that has to be done, but if you ever take away the gardener, it's chaos now trying to get from point A to point B. But you know what's causing it? They put in traffic lights. You see all these traffic lights going in?
Yeah.
80% of the traffic lights aren't warranted. So for $250,000 or $300,000 it costs to put in traffic lights, you have to meet the warrant. So many cars going through an intersection. So staff comes up and says, no, it's not warranted. What do the councillors do? They all vote in favor of putting a traffic light in their area. Well, that just causes traffic jams. It's just one right after the other. So we're going to keep the gardener. I want to see the island Billy Bishop Airport expanded, because that's great. Again, great for business. And I love using Billy Bishop. You're on there, you're in and out quick. So there's a number of issues that are going to benefit our city.
Our city's booming right now.
Contracted
I travel
garbage.
around North America. Our city's booming. We have 189 cranes in the air. That equals jobs. That's more than New York, Chicago, LA, Dallas, Boston combined. So people are floored when they fly over and they see cranes throughout the whole city. The city of cranes means the city of jobs.
Tomorrow is Valentine's Day, gentlemen. How will you spend Valentine's Day?
By myself. My wife and my girls are going down to Florida.
Really?
Was that your choice?
I couldn't help myself.
You want to go and get a tattoo tomorrow?
And I'm going to Harbor 60, so I'm bringing my wife, and again, I'm going out with Orlando Franklin, my buddy, so we're going to go down to Orlando 60. We're going to go down to Harbor 60, and my wife really likes that restaurant, and I'm going to treat Orlando, and we'll take it from there.
Doesn't it make you nervous, though, saying where you're going to be?
No.
Like, crowds must follow.
They know anywhere. It's Twitter. That's what we were joking on the way last night. We can find him anywhere. You just have to tweet and find out where he's going. They have a GPS everywhere he goes.
I swear I have a GPS in me somewhere. So, wherever I go. Within seconds, we went to that club last night. I walked outside, and we weren't there for longer than, like I said, a half hour, and boom, the media was sitting there. And I'm thinking, this is incredible. So, you know what? They can follow me all they want, so they'll see how hard I work and how many people I meet.
Wow. Quickly here, Councillor Ford, you and I are going to be at a press conference later on this morning. Music Nightclub has done a big food drive, so that's a big event for the city. And, of course, we should support our food banks with Easter coming up, too.
Absolutely. I encourage everyone to donate food. We're going to be down at Music, and he contributes. I forget the amount. He was saying tons of food every single year. So God bless the folks at Music and Zlako, the owner down there. But you can go to any fire station, drop off your food, or even drop it off at a police station.
Mayor Ford, you mentioned Twitter. Do you read your Twitter? Because ever since we announced you were going to be here, I started getting copied on some of the tweets that typically go to you. And I'll be honest with you, if that was my Twitter, I would not want to read it. Because some of the stuff that comes there is unbelievable.
We try to keep up with it. It's very, very difficult, but we try to respond to it. I got Jerry behind me. So, yeah, just sit there and I see every single one. Now, there's literally hundreds of thousands, but I try to get as many as possible. I read as many as possible. So
now, how do you deal with the negative impact? Because mentally, it's very draining when somebody says something That's not nice.
In politics, you're going to get that. You can't keep everyone happy, Stacey. I sit there. I know what my job is, again, is to create jobs, help out the people that in Toronto community housing, help out people that are not as fortunate as I am, and save taxpayers money and create jobs and guide people. And I've been guiding youth and helping out seniors and that's my job. So they can say whatever they want. They usually take shots at my big belly, but my big belly's getting smaller. I'm down about 40 pounds. I'm training every day, so I don't know what else they're going to do when I'm down to 200 pounds of dancing dynamite.
You're going back to gravity for Tony's birthday next year, right?
Stacey, do you know what keeps Rob and I going and it happens numerous times a day when you go to the gas station, go to Tim Hortons or wherever, and people come up and thank you. They say it's a thankless job. It's not a thankless job. People thank you constantly everywhere you go and say, stay focused. We're behind you. That's what re-energizes our battery, because when that stops, we stop.
Yeah, you know what? I got to be a mayor because radio is really a thankless job.
Pay $100. I'll walk you into the office and you'll be on the ballot and you'll win too, for sure. So,
Mayor Ford, I know that you have said the only poll that counts is the one that happens on election day, and that's true. But some of the polls that are coming out now say you might be slipping a little bit in support. What do you think?
You know what? They said I'm up there, I'm down. I've said, you know what? I ignore the polls. I know what the people are thinking because I was out just as of last night walking out, and I don't want to sound conceited, but I just get mobbed by people and taking pictures and saying I support you. That's the poll that matters. And I want to debate my competition. I want these people to stop talking about running and run. I'll give credit to David Signacki, the ex-budget chief for David Miller. He's a complete disaster, but at least he's put his name in. So all these other people that are talkers, I want to have a full debate, and I'll put my record up against theirs anytime. But I'll tell you right now, this is going to be a war this next 8 months, and I just can't wait because I know what I've done is right. I've been the best mayor the city's ever had, and I don't want to sound, like I said, I'm tooting my own horn, but I just can't wait to get it on.
Would you be at all worried if John Tory or Olivia Chow threw their name in for mayor?
I want John Tory to run. I want Olivia Chow to run. I want Karen Stintz to run. And whoever else is out there, I want them to run. There's already about 40 people that are running, by the way.
Let me tell you something, guys. They're going to get personal because they have no record to go on. Right? They have no record. They've never run anything in their lives.
Right.
And
couple lemonade
Rob, and Rob has a record. We live in a democracy. Our city is booming. We created 56,000 jobs last year. Things are rocking in this city, and they're going to determine do they want to move forward and increase taxes and build streetcars and horse and buggy, or do they want to have subways and make sure we hold everyone accountable down there?
Okay. Since you're not running in this campaign, Councillor Ford, how active are you going to be in the mayor's campaign? Or are you just going to step back as your term winds down?
I'm his campaign manager, and we're going to go hard. We have a great team. See, the difference between the social elites and the establishment that don't like Rob and I, the common folk love Rob, the blue-collar folk, the frontline folks, the union folks. So, those are the people we represent. We don't represent the snooty little elites and the establishment that have controlled this city for the last 50 years.
Should 905ers be worried about tolls ever when they drive into Toronto?
There will not be tolls on the Gardiner. There will not be tolls. We only have control of the 427, the Gardiner, and the Don Valley. So I just want to clarify that with people. On the 401, that's provincial property. So I should say Highway 27, not 427. And there will not be tolls as long as I'm mayor. And these people want to push for tolls. They want to use revenue tools like my competition. You're talking about Chow and Tory. They want to increase taxes and put revenue tools in. You know what a revenue tool is?
Sure.
A tax.
Yep.
And they use all these fancy words. Just come out and say you're going to gas tax, you're going to have parking tax, you're going to have this tax. We don't need this. We're taxed to death. We have more than enough money to run the city. The taxpayers pay enough. I've proven it that we can run it. We've had 1.5 since I've been mayor, Scott. We've had a 1.5% tax increase,
lowest in North America,
all throughout the last 3 years. You put one city up against us, we're cleaning house. So I'm going to continue on, like I said, for 4 more years, and that's our slate. And I encourage the people to come out and call us. 233-6934 is the number. That's 416-233-6934, and that's my home number, so people can call me at home. And obviously, right now they're going to get an answering machine, but I'm looking and wanting the help, and we have a great team. And you know what? Some news reporter came up to me and said, well, which big celebrities are supporting you in the mayor's race? I said, the people are supporting me. I don't need big celebrities like maybe the other candidates have. I don't need big celebrities. The people are with us, and that's what matters.
Okay, fast forward 4 years. if you're reelected in October, 4 years from then, will the subways be finished? Will the link from Pearson be in? Will the airport be expanded?
Absolutely. We should have those subways. The shovel should be going in the ground. We've got the federal government on board, the provincial government on board. In 4 years, I don't see why we can't have the Scarborough subway built, and then the Shepherd's going to take a while, Finch is going to take a while, the DRL is going to take a while, subways take a while to build. You know, the ones going up to York right now, they're still working on that. That will be finished. You're going to see a huge improvement. Yeah, I think you look back now from 3 years ago. Is this city better than it was 3 years ago? Absolutely. We haven't had any strikes. We've contracted out garbage. We make TTC an essential service. There are frontline officers. Crime's down. I support our frontline officers. They do a phenomenal job. The proof's in the pudding. You look at our city, like Doug said, it's booming right now, and it wasn't like that 3 years ago.
Yesterday, the Ombudsman report came out that said people are not happy with some of the service they're getting from City Hall.
And I don't disagree with that. And you know what? Unfortunately, things are going to have to change. I've been on to the city manager. I said, hey, if people aren't picking up their phones, then they don't deserve to work down here. It's customer service. The taxpayers are the boss. And when you call City Hall, or with my office, you get a live person. There's no reason why these people aren't getting served. The taxpayers call the shots. When they say jump, I say how high. And these bureaucrats down there have to understand it, or else, you know what? I hate to say it, they're not going to have a job.
Okay. Councillor Ford, Mayor Rob Ford, thank you very much for coming in. We appreciate it. Good luck with the campaign.
You. Thanks, Scott.
You've got an open invitation, gentlemen. You can come back as the campaign goes on, as we get closer to the election. We'd love to keep in touch with you.
We'd love to support the Etobicoke radio station here.
All right.
Excellent.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. It's the Scott and Kat Show, 8:56. We'll be back in 3 minutes.